Introduction. Revealed preference theory was propounded by Paul A. Samuelson in 1947 and it was based on the consumer's preferences of different goods and services which are available in the market. He has derived the demand curve of a consumer based on the consumer's budgetary constraints and his preferences revealed in the market without involving any ordinal or cardinal measurement of utility. A consumer buys a combination of two goods either because he likes this combination in relation to the other or this is cheaper than the other. Suppose the consumer buys combination A rather than combination B, C or D, it means that he reveals his preference for combination A. He can do this for two reasons. First, combination A may be cheaper than the other combinations B, C and D. Second, the combination A may be dearer than the other combinations and even then he likes it more than the other combinations. In such a situation, it can be said that A is revealed preferred to B, C, D or B, C, D are revealed inferior to A. Let us study this theory in detail.
After studying this module, you shall be able to know the concept of revealed preference theory, learn how the consumers revealed their preference for various goods and services which they consume, derive the demand and indifference curves from consumers' revealed preferences, evaluate the income and substitution effect of the consumer. The revealed preference theory. Revealed preference theory of consumer behavior is the only theory which has derived the demand curve of the consumer for a commodity from the revealed preference axioms, that is, baskets of different goods which a consumer buys at different prices without using IC and its restrictive assumptions. Moreover, this theory is also capable of establishing the existence of IC and its convexity. Because of its success, it is also known as the third root of the logical theory of demand. Moreover, the two most distinguishing characteristics of revealed preference theory are as follows. 1. It offers a theoretical framework for explaining consumer behavior predicted on little more than the assumption that consumers are rational, that they will make choices which advance their own purposes most efficiently. And second, it provides necessary and sufficient conditions which can be empirically tested for observed choices to be consistent with utility maximization. Let us learn the assumptions of the revealed preference theory. Rationality. A consumer is always rational, that is, he or she always prefers more of goods and services to derive maximum utility. Thus, he always buys the commodity which gives him maximum utility and then he buys the least utility giving commodity at the end. Transitivity and consistence of choice. Consumer preferences are always transitive. That is, if a consumer prefers good X over good Y and the same consumer prefers good Y over good Z, then according to this assumption of transitivity, he must prefer good X over good Z also. If X is greater than Y, if Y is greater than Z, therefore X must be greater than Z. Whereas, as per consistence of choice, if a consumer prefers good X to good Y in one period, then he must not prefer good Y to good X in another period, or must not treat both the goods as equal. Symbolically, if x is greater than y in one period, then y is greater than or equal to x, or y is not equal to x in other period. Price inducements. Given the consumer choice for a basket of goods, a consumer can induce to buy a different basket of goods which provide him sufficient price incentives. Revealed preference axioms. As revealed preference theory developed, three primary axioms were identified: the weak, strong, and generalized axioms of revealed preference. The weak axiom indicates that at given price and incomes, if one good is purchased rather than another, then the consumer will always make the same choice. Less abstractly, the weak axiom argues that if a consumer purchases one particular type of good, then the consumer will never purchase a different brand or good unless it provides more benefit by being less expensive, having better quality, or providing increased convenience. Hence, the basic axiom of the revealed preference theory is that if a consumer chooses one basket of goods, given his budgetary constraints and the alternative baskets of goods of the same price, then he reveals his preference. For instance, if there are two baskets A and B comprising of two goods X and Y, and both are equally expensive to the consumer, then if a consumer chooses basket A over B, then the consumer is said to reveal his preference for basket A. He may do so because either he would have a liking for that basket of goods, or it is relatively less expensive than the other. But if the consumer chooses one basket over the other because it is cheaper than the other basket, then the consumer is not said to have revealed his preference. He is only said to have revealed his preference for a basket over the other when the price of both the baskets are the same, and he chooses one basket over the other because he likes the other basket over the other. Then only the consumer reveals his preference for one basket over the other. This can be understood with the help of a diagram. In the diagram, the budget line of the consumer is MN, where he can choose various baskets of goods X and Y given his income and the prices of X and Y. Now, if the consumer chooses any basket of good, for instance, if he chooses basket A, which comprises of OX of X and OP of Y, then he is said to have revealed his preference for basket A over any other basket which lies on the same budget line. So here the consumer has revealed his preference for A over B. Any basket which lies below the budget line, like basket C, comprises of cheaper X and Y, and the consumer will not reveal his preference for it. Any basket lying above the budget line would be too expensive for the consumer to buy, therefore, he will also not reveal his preference for that basket, like basket D. The strong axiom essentially generalizes the weak axiom to cover multiple goods and rules out certain inconsistent chains of choices. In a two-dimensional world, a world with only two goods between which consumers chooses, the weak and strong axioms can be shown to be equivalent. While the strong axiom characterizes the implications of utility maximization, it does not address all the implications, namely, there may not be a unique maximum. The generalized axiom covers the case when, for a given price level and income, more than one consumption bundle satisfy the same level of benefit. Expressed in utility terms, the generalized axiom accounts for circumstances where there is no unique bundle that maximizes utility. Now, let's learn about the decomposition of substitution and income effect and derivation of demand curve. The price effect and its decomposition into substitution and income effect can also be shown by the revealed preference theory apart from the indifference curve theory. For this, let us assume the budget line as M1N1 on which a consumer chooses bundle A comprising of AX1 of Y and OX1 of X. Since all the bundles on this budget line are equally expensive to the consumer, but the consumer has revealed his preference for A over all other bundles lying on this budget line. Now, if the price of X would fall, then the budget line will pivot to M1 and 3 and the consumer shifts to point C. This movement of the consumer from point A to C is known as the price effect. This price effect can now be split into substitution and income effect in the figure. This can be done by drawing a budget line M2N2 through point A. Note that we are doing the separation based on the Slutskin method. Since the new budget line M2N2 passes through point A, so I mean that the combination of X and Y are still available to the consumer. Now the consumer response to the change in the price of X could be taken as the bundle which he chooses on this M2N2 budget line. As it has been seen in the above diagram, that the consumer will not choose any bundle lying between M2A as all these bundles are inferior to him. He would only choose either A or any bundle lying on the segment A and 2 and precisely between point A and H. Now, if he would choose basket A, then the substitution effect would be 0. And if he chooses basket B, then the substitution effect would be X1, X2 and the income effect would be X2, X3. Since here the substitution effect is positive, thus it implies that when the price of X falls, the demand for X increases. Hence, the demand curve could be derived from this. Let us now discuss the derivation of indifference curve. As has been explained that the revealed preference theory is capable of deriving the proofs for the existence of indifference curve and its convexity, it does so using the consumer behavior, that is, a consumer's choice for various goods at various prices. This derivation of the indifference curve can be understood with the help of a diagram. For this, let us assume that the consumer reveals his preference for basket A over the other on the budget line MN. Moreover, all the bundles lying below the budget line are inferior to him and thus not preferred by him as they all are cheaper than A. This is represented as the triangle MON, which is marked as inferior zone. Let us now consider the area above the budget line.
This area is divided into three segments,
namely JAM, JAK, and KAN. The area JAK is the preferred one because any point on JA represents a higher quantity of Y with the same quantity of X. Similarly, any point on AK is preferred as it shows a higher quantity of X with the same quantity of Y. Area above AK and to the right of AJ represents a basket comprising of more of both the goods X and Y. Therefore, any point on the line AJ, AK and between them is preferred over point A. Hence, in the diagram, this area is marked as the preferred zone. The areas JAM and KAN are the ignorance zone as any point in these areas represents more of one good and less of the other good as compared to point A. And the consumer's preferences are very difficult to be known in these areas. Thus, it is clear from the discussion that the consumer's indifference curve will pass through point A, JAM and KAN to retain its convexity. The course of indifference curve in the ignorance zones can be found out by ranking consumers' choices in these areas. For this, let us assume a budget line Mn which shifted to Pt when the price of x falls and price of y increases. Now, the consumer will either choose B or any bundle on BT segment of this new budget line, but since, because of the assumption of consistency, the consumer cannot choose any point on BP as they all are inferior to him. Now, if he chooses B, then any point on or below PT is inferior B. Thus, any bundle in the area NBT is revealed inferior to B. Hence, the triangle NBT, which is a part of the ignorance zone KAN, is clipped off because the consumer's ranking of this area is now known. This procedure can be repeated for as many points as we wish to repeat in order to find out the best point, and thus the ignorance area can be reduced bit by bit. For instance, point C and D. Moreover, the same procedure can be done for the upper ignorance zone JAM to find points in relation to A in the figure. Now, if we join all these points D, A, B, C, then we get the offer curve FF dash in the figure. According to Samuelson, the position of the offer curve would be the probable position of the indifference curve. He has given the following points in support of this argument. The indifference curve cannot be a straight line like MN because when the consumer chooses point A, then it reflects that all other points on MN are inferior to A, and hence the consumer cannot be indifferent to point A and to all other points lying on MN. All the points below the budget line MN are revealed inferior to A. Therefore, the indifference curve cannot intersect the budget line. Not it could be concave, as represented in the diagram as C dash. Since all the points on or above the budget line MN are revealed superior to A, IC cannot pass through the preferred zone JAK. Therefore, the position of the indifference curve would be somewhere between the ignorance zone which passed through A and is FF dash in the diagram. Let us now discuss the limitations of revealed preference theory. First, it is not possible to separate substitution effect. Samuelson's fundamental theorem is conditional and not universal. It is based on the postulate that positive income elasticities imply negative price elasticities. Since the price effect consists of the income and substitution effects, it is not possible to isolate the substitution effect from the income effect on the level of observation. If the income effect is not positive, price elasticity of demand is indeterminate. On the other hand, if the income elasticity of demand is positive, the substitution effect following a change in price cannot be established. Thus, the substitution effect cannot be distinguished from the income effect in the Samuelsonian theorem. Second, it excludes Giffen paradox. Samuelson's revealed preference hypothesis excludes the study of the Giffen paradox, for it considers only positive income elasticity of demand. Like the Marshallian law of demand, the Samuelsonian theorem fails to distinguish between the negative income effect of a given good combined with a weak substitution effect and a negative income effect with a powerful substitution effect. Samuelson's fundamental theorem is therefore inferior to and less integrated than the Hicksian price effect, which provides an all-inclusive explanation of the income effect, the substitution effect, and of the Giffen paradox. 3. Consumer does not choose only one combination. The assumption that the consumer chooses only one combination on a given price income situation is incorrect. It implies that the consumer chooses something of everything of both the goods, but it is seldom that anybody purchases something of everything. 4. Choice does not reveal preference. The assumption that choice reveals preference has also been criticized. Choice always does not reveal preference. Choice requires rational consumer behavior. Since a consumer does not act rationally at all times, his choice of a particular set of goods may not reveal his preference for that. Thus, the theorem is not based on observed consumer behavior in the market. Fifth, fails to derive market demand curve. The revealed preference approach is applicable only to an individual consumer. Negatively inclined demand curves can be drawn for each consumer with the help of this approach by assuming other things remaining the same. But this technique fails to help in drawing market demand schedules. 6. Not valid for game theory. According to Tapas Majumdar, the revealed preferences hypothesis is invalid for the situations where the individual choosers are known to be capable of employing strategies of a game theory type. 7. Fails in risky or uncertain situations. The revealed preference theory fails to analyze consumer behavior in choices involving risk or uncertainty. If there are three situations A, B, and C, the consumer prefers A to B and C to A. Out of these, A is certain, but chances of occurring B or C are 50-50. In such a situation, the consumer's preference for C over A cannot be said to be based on his observed market behavior.
Summary. The revealed preference theory given by Samuelson is though easy and simple, but it has its own complexities. As we have seen, the consumer can reveal his preferences by choosing only one basket of goods over the others, and thus there is no need of finding out the price effect using the indifference curve approach. This approach is equally capable of finding out the demand curve and the indifference curve of the consumer based on his behavior. Hence, this theory was adopted by various economists for doing the further research. However, there are certain limitations to this theory. The theory fails to separate the substitution effect. It excludes the Giffen paradox. The consumer does not choose only one combination but various combinations. Choice of a consumer does not reveal preference as choice requires rational consumer behavior. Revealed preference theory fails to derive market demand curve. It is not valid for game theory and thus it fails in risky or uncertain situations.